Welcome everybody. We have an agenda. One quote just on this slide is from George Washington, where George Washington, you think about our Continental Army and the struggles they had with Valley Forge and not having shoes. But George Washington, in order to win the war, actually spent a significant amount of the few dollars that they had on information up front. So information from spies, information from intelligence, in order to get a better picture of where to spend the rest of the meager resources on beating the British. So just a quick note about Swan Island Network. We are actually a software company. We actually two of our projects that I wanted to touch on. One is the New York City Metropolitan Resilience Network through New York University's Intercept group. It actually enables about 400 people to share some of our different dashboards across the tri-state area, an outgrowth of Superstorm Sandy. And we are a technology partner with Allied Universal, which is about a $7.3 billion security firm with over 200,000 in their manned guarding ranks, and also provide a whole set of both technology and consulting services around security. I wanted to touch on resilience. This is one of the things we've done a lot of work on over the years, and we got to have two sides of resilience. One is a formal definition by the former chairman of the Rockefeller Foundation, and the other one is kind of a Timex ad from the 60s, where they used to do these incredible stunts, and the Timex watch would still be ticking, if you remember those. And a lot of resilience is focused on preparedness. With COVID-19, the preparedness time is largely over. We had some time to prepare. We did some good things. We've done some not so good things. As your individual company, I'm sure your business continuity plans and your disaster recovery plans and shelter-in-place plans are all being tested, and you're finding all kinds of things to do better next time, which is the key, because this is a terrible thing, but it's also likely to repeat itself over the coming years, be it a natural disaster, be it some kind of a civil disturbance, whatever it's going to be. The key for resilience is taking a problem, learning from it, and being ready for the next one. So we'll touch on that some more. And I wanted to touch on situational awareness and threat monitoring. And largely this is keeping forward-looking radar, and this is what we do with our products, forward-looking radar to know what's coming at you, right? Imagine you're in a ring, you're a boxer, and you've got a mask over your eyes, and you can't see who's coming to hit you, and you wait until somebody hits you, and then you swing back, right? You'd never think about doing that. But many times in our organizations, and we're focused mostly on corporations, if you're not looking ahead, trying to anticipate what's going to happen and mitigate those things that can affect your lives, your property, your reputation, your business continuity, you're really setting yourself up for not having enough time when something happens to actually respond, right? And certainly there are no notice types of problems, but many problems, you do get advance warning, and so having the capability to monitor that ahead of time is really key. And this is a map we use in terms of the threat cycle, and I'm sure many of you have seen this in the past. And today, we're right in the center of the disaster, right? We're in black sky times, and it's important to have, real-time situational awareness, to be working your plan, to figuring out new contingencies, what can I bring in to help me bolster the problems that I've had so far, and what's going to happen that I probably haven't anticipated based on what we've seen, right? In so many cases, it's like, oh, we'll get people together for this. Well, guess what? We can't be together. So now we've got to suddenly figure out how to work in a collaborative group. And then how do we work with our partners, right? Be it our supply chain, be it our customers, be it the companies that are all within 25 miles of us on a regional basis, people that maybe we haven't worked with before, but now suddenly how do we work with those people to try to get synergies, so that we're not all trying to recreate the same solution to the same problem, right? And how to mobilize resources that'll actually help you surge, right? Where do you find 15 extra security people? Where do you find a new intelligence capability in the middle of a crisis? So very important. And then also, and there's a new dawn coming. We're going to recover from this. It seems pretty grim right now, but we've come through it before, and out of this becomes a lot of lessons learned and a lot of great capabilities. The New York project I mentioned was an outgrowth of Superstorm Sandy, which was devastating to the New York area, but they got several important capabilities that came out of the after action of living through that disaster. And TX Global is a brand new service that we have, which is built on our TX 360 solution, and is a low price, no training, rapid deployment intelligence capability. So real-time alerting, dashboards, and the ability to monitor alert feeds from around the world with an upgrade path to our to our full product. So TX Global, as I mentioned, is built on TX 360. Its price points start at $99 a month as a subscription, and it's available to a large number of businesses, right? It's great for a small business that hasn't been able to afford, an alert feed or an alerting capability, but for large businesses, it'll augment what you already have, or it'll give you the ability to have a separate, very rapidly deployed, capability for this specific type of crisis. And so online, very fast, very easy to use, and we'll cover a whole range of elements. So these are the different pieces of TX Global. We have both automated and analyst curated content from around the world, and it'll show up both delivered via email and text. We have what's called a smart alert queue, which allows you to selectively distribute information across your organization or your corporation, so that everybody's not getting 10,000 alerts, but that somebody is seeing all the things that you think are relevant, and you can configure that a number of different ways. We have visual dashboards that we'll show you a few examples of. These are dashboards that can bring a lot of information into a central focus point, and allow you to view those, and those are being continually updated automatically through the back end of our capability. And then we have a professional team of analysts that if your corporation has a specific need, we can address that with a specialty feed, especially a special focus on a particular process. And that's in the context of our intelligence feeds. We've got about 4,000 feeds from around the world that we actually monitor, and a scalable platform that's pulling in over 500,000 events per day. So that's kind of where TX Global emerges from. This is an overview of the different tiers of TX Global. As I mentioned, we have a $99 subscription product, which gives you a severe alert feed. It gives you a complete set of dashboards around the COVID-19 crisis, as well as some other global alert dashboards. There was a very large earthquake today that was on Tsunami Watch, which probably most companies missed out in the Pacific. So it's covering the other things that are happening around the world that still happen despite the the current crisis, which is taking most people's bandwidth. And then when you move to tier 2, you're able to add geospatial assets to the tier 2 product. These are both single user products, and then tier 3 gives you a much larger, capability. It's a work group of 5, 50 assets and locations that you can actually put on on the global map and track, as well as all the different dashboards. So this is a description of tier 1. As I mentioned, email alerts, one user, the ability to send us feedback and share information back, so that we can improve both the product and the intelligence feeds that we're using. We're in a continual loop of trying to work with our customers to spiral our capabilities up and make things more useful for everyone. So that feedback becomes particularly important. I mentioned the dashboards, both global dashboards and the COVID-19 dashboards, and then we have a weekly digest, and then we have capabilities to upgrade this service as well. Tier 2, very similar capabilities, but in this case we add asset monitoring, and we add additional dashboards, continental type dashboards and other specific sector dashboards that you can select and use. And then tier 3, as I mentioned, is a work group of 5. This can be more than 5. We're just pricing it to make it easy. These can all be bought with a credit card on our site, as opposed to having to go through a purchase order process and those kinds of things. So we tried to make these very, bite-sized chunks that people can can use and deploy, instantly, as opposed to, trying to do a purchase order, and trying to configure things in a very, complex way. We can certainly do that if you need it, but this is a way where you can actually get started very quickly. So why TX Global? TX360 is a great product. Certainly can provide a lot of added value very quickly. TX Global is very proactive, almost no training whatsoever. We've got visual dashboards, we've got real-time alerting that comes out from the different feeds that we have, and you can use that very quickly to monitor the asset locations that you have. You can adjust your preferences, and with that, I'll have Julie walk through a series of slides that will give you a quick idea of what that looks like.
Great. So jumping right into the product here, one of the first steps for new users will be to set their alert preferences. So you'll be able to select from a range of alert feeds. Number one, all users automatically will get the global priority alerts. This covers high relevant issues across the world, US and global, so severe events. Below that, you can subscribe by region if you have a particular region of interest, as well as by topic. And then once you're activated and in the product, those alerts will be fed in to what we call the queue in a stream. They'll also be delivered to your email. So this is just a snapshot of, a single alert from yesterday. The first death of a minor from COVID. This was in Southern California. And the alert queue provides that snapshot, a link to the source, as well as geolocation relevant to the alert. So stepping away from COVID just a little bit, part of what our analyst team does is produce this curated premium alert feed that is fed into both TX360 and TX Global. We're feeding those highly severe and impactful incidents in with added value from the team, a summary, geolocation, categorization. And for that feed, we're really ahead of things in terms of delivery time. So you may see it in the news a little bit later, but a lot of the time our analysts are actually publishing these as the incidents are beginning to occur. There's a couple examples here of things that were caught very swiftly by the analyst team. Here, the Germany attack a few months ago. So what do those alerts look like when they come into your email? This is a snapshot. You'll get a quick header that summarizes the issue, a timestamp summary, and then we provide that link to the original event that lets you drill in and actually read the full article, as well as the map. Really easy to grasp, get a summary quickly, and then drive in for more detail. Now for TX360 and then for tiers 2 and 3 in TX Global, there's additional aspect of asset proximity. So you're able to enter key locations of interest into the system, and those locations will automatically be included in the alerting stream as well as in the platform. So you can see at a glance how far an incident is to any of your assets. There's another nice capability on the web queue, which is the ability to share alert. So if you have teammates, colleagues, anybody that you want to share a particular alert to, you can actually hit the share button, enter their email address, and shoot it out to them directly. This is a snapshot of our dashboard menu. There are a group of COVID-19 dashboards that are included for all TX Global subscribers right now. So this comes with any new user, and then there will be a selection of regional and topical dashboards available as well, with tiers 2 and tier 3 getting the full menu of dashboards. Tier 1 has a more brief, limited array of dashboards, but they do cover the regions around the world and then key areas of interest topically. They may be seasonal. For example, this summer we'll start getting into wildfire season and hurricane season. Those will be automatically included into the dashboard menu at that time. And hopefully the COVID-19 will be disappearing, along the same lines. So a quick snapshot of our coronavirus monitor dashboard. We've got an automated feed of the stats coming in globally and by country. We've got a map view, and then we have various information sources feeding into the dashboard here on the right. We have another monitor that's looking at COVID-19 more from an economic and business impact standpoint. So we're of course looking at stock market, unfortunately, shortages, and then a compilation of key sources related to these topics that we would pull in from Twitter. Obviously, Twitter is, you know, a huge source of information, but you need to be precise and vet the filtering and how you want to present that information. So our analyst team has gone through those steps to make sure that the information that's provided here is timely and relevant to this topic. We also give us an overview across the world of that analyst curated feed, which is all coming in from our team and covering all the regions, all topics. Right now very focused on COVID, but still covering things like the earthquake last night, tsunami warning, and various other security incidents. Also included is an official government travel dashboard. So this is pulling in the official updates from the US State Department. This has become quite interesting, obviously, through this crisis, but we're also pulling in various information sources for the specific areas, such as the embassies, alerts relevant to the region, and so forth. We do track a number of different country travel advisories, so OSAC as well as State Department, but we also look at some of the foreign travel sources, such as the UK, the FCO, Australia, Germany, and Canada, various others. And this is just a snapshot of the Europe Regional Monitor. So we can filter further the data to look specifically at a region, to look specifically at their unique topics of interest, and then you know, add other important pieces of information, such as the news, their in-language travel alerts, and weather, natural disasters still as necessary. So that's kind of a quick walkthrough of the TX Global platform. I'm happy to take questions later too.